Welcome to this video presented by the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. In this video, we will talk about workers' rights in the U.S. and signs of labor exploitation, so you know how to keep yourself safe in the workplace. As we discussed in the video titled Labor Laws and Workers' Rights in the U.S., there are laws in the U.S. that protect employees, and you are entitled to these rights even if you do not have a work permit in the U.S. For example, the law requires a minimum wage for workers. This amount can change, and it may be higher than the federal minimum depending on the state. It is important to know what the minimum wage in your state is to ensure you are getting paid a fair wage. If you work more than 40 hours in a week, your employer must pay you overtime. That means that they have to pay you time and a half for every hour you work over 40 hours in a week. Federal law also requires that your employer ensures you are working in a safe and healthy environment. For immigrant youth who have just arrived in the United States and do not have their work permit, it is important to understand that you still do not have legal authorization to work in the U.S. To obtain a work permit, you should consult with an immigration attorney to talk about your options for your legal case. There are various risks associated with working in the U.S. without legal authorization. It can result in trouble with immigration or other authorities, and possibly complicate your immigration court case, especially if you are using someone else's documents to work. In addition, immigrants who work without authorization, especially minors, are more at risk of exploitation or maltreatment by their employer. What are some of the signs that your employer might be abusing or exploiting their employees? Or if you are an immigrant youth, that your caregiver may be exploiting you? Let me give you some examples. If you are not being paid the minimum wage in your state, if you work more than 40 hours a week and are not getting paid overtime, if you are not allowed to take breaks during the workday to eat or go to the bathroom, if you are not allowed to take a day off when you are sick, if you are being threatened that you will lose your job if you miss a day, or lose your housing if you do not work. If your employer or someone else has your important documents in their possession so that you do not have access to them, such as your passport, work permit, or social security card. If someone is taking away money from your earnings to pay rent or another expense, or to pay off a debt. If someone is threatening that they will call the police or immigration on you for working without authorization. If someone is threatening to harm, or has harmed you or your family if you do not work. Or if you feel forced to work out of fear of something bad happening if you do not work. If you find yourself in a situation like this, it is important for you to know that this is not okay and that you have rights. Talk to your caseworker or other trusted individual to ask for help. You can also call the National Human Trafficking Hotline, or if you are an unaccompanied immigrant child, you can call the Office of Refugee Resettlement, known as ORR, National Call Center to ask for help, obtain information about resources and your options, and connect to services. You may be eligible for special assistance if you have been exploited at work in the U.S. Remember, these videos are not intended to serve as legal advice, and you should consult with an immigration attorney to discuss your legal options. Thank you for your attention. We recommend you view our other video titled Labor Laws and Employee Rights in the United States. And if you are interested in learning more, visit our Resource Center website with resources for immigrant children at ucresourcecenter.org.